Hello guys, this is Joseph from Jouleconcepts. How are you doing today? Welcome to the 27th of the AutoCAD 3D 30 days challenge. So today we are going to look at creating a door for architectural design. So this is basically what we're going to look at. So I actually came up with two different doors. I'm not sure which to use, so I'm just looking at a more technical one that will require us doing so much work. And again, it's going to be long because we are going to be creating handles, not just the door and the frame or the panel. We're also going to finish up everything with the handle, and this is the handle that I'm looking at creating, but then we have different style. So why I have a few of this is because of the dimension, so we can work with an actual dimension. All right, so as much as we're trying to create that, so you can see this, the length of this, you can see here. So this one doesn't hold the dimension, so we just have a rough dimension of how it is. So that's why I'm putting a few of these things here. So, but in my opinion, this is actually catching my attention. I feel we should create this. This feels a little simple compared to this, so I'm thinking we should just go with this. So what I'm going to do is just look at the screen, and anytime I need this, I'll be bringing it back. I have a second screen now that I'll just move this over to, so while I'm working, I'll just be looking at what it is I am going to be working with. All right, so without further ado, let's just get into it. So I'm going to move this to the right, and then we're going to also look at a few dimensions to door. So I know dimension, their standard dimensions, to have the 900 mm dimension to 2:1. So I think we just go with the default one, which is the 900 to 2:1. So basically you have your floor, and then you have your door whose width will be 900 mm. Don't worry about the mm. So well, this is 2100, that's like 2.1 meters. So we're going to make use of this to create the so-called wall that we want, the doors that we want to create, and then from there we can start building off from there. All right, so our wall is going to be, sorry, our door is, we're just going to look at it straight on. All right, so, and then for the depth of the door, and we don't have an actual depth, so maybe we will just go with we have this, maybe we could go with one. Let me just actually check, so we can just have a sense of full dimension of this. Strong with my internet. Okay, door. So just say standard door complete dimension, so we can see what the dimensions are. I want to pick a depth from it. I already have a sense of the width and the height. It's just the depth that I will get from here. So from there we can just continue. All right, so for some reason I don't know what's wrong with my internet connectivity, so I think we'll just go with it. So once that thing comes up, I'm going to see it on this side so that we don't waste our time waiting for this. All right, so I'm going to go to the front view while we're here, and then I'm also going to switch this to 2D wireframe, and then we want to start by creating the shape. Okay, so we're going to start by creating a rectangle, or I can actually use line or polyline. And once I use polyline, hold on, Control 9, so that I can have my command line. So PL, and I will draw from here, put on my auto mode, go up. We said going up is 2100 mm. And again, so anytime you run into this problem and it's gone off screen, just cancel out and just type Z press enter to zoom, and then A, enter. Will zoom all to your screen, and then you can scroll out back. So it always happens. And again, I forgot to check UN for my unit, so millimeter is fine. So we'll continue. We'll click from here to here. This is 900, and then we'll come back. This is 2100, and let's do this right here. I'm thinking of having these, just these ones joined, and then we can start to do a few more things from there, right? So let's get this joined first. J for join, and then we have this. So I'm looking at this guy right here, so I'm trying to start up with the frame before we get into the panel. That's what I'm trying to look at. All right, so I'm thinking we should because if you look at the frame, look down here, is not all the way, so unlike the way it is at the top here. So we have to make sure the base is opened, and so we can have something like this. That's why I did not join this to it. I just have this one. So we're going to do a bit of an offset. So I don't know the value to use. So let's say we want an offset from here to here. I can just draw a line, click anywhere and come here. I can see a value. That's 50. Okay, 50 is fine. O for offset, set the value to be 50, and then click here, go inside, click, and that will give us the offset of the frame. So we need to join this by using line, join this to this, and then line again, join this to this, join this to this. So now we have that joined, so we have to join everything together. Select this, select the small, there's one small line that we missed here, so I'll just join this first. J for join. Alright, so I need to finish up this, so just do line again, click from here to here. So we have this small line and then this whole shape, J to join, and now this, I have this full shape. So what we can do now, let's switch this back to world. We just need to create these depths. All right, so let's quickly do that. A basic wall is like a 6-inch wall, so we can do the conversion. So we just convert length from inch to millimeters. So if you're having 6, so we should have 150. So let's just say 150. So if the wall is 150, so maybe the door may not necessarily have to be the full 150, because I'm looking at this on the wall, on the face of the wall, and at the back as well will also be on the face of the wall. So I think we'll do 152 just as we see. Then the panel can go in a bit more further. So let's click on this extrude, and for some reason I keep having this issue of putting a negative positive value and it comes in. So let me just go with the negative 152, and now that works. And if I switch this to conceptual, it's going to be open space, and that is basically what I want. This is going to be the frame of this door. So let's finish up again. So we're going to take this back to the front, change this right here, and then the next thing we have is these panels. But this panel is kind of interesting. We have how many subdivision in this panel? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 subdivisions in this panel. So we need to look for a way to divide this panel as well into that 10. So what I'll do is I'll create a line, click from here all the way to this place, just so that I can have that line. So this line, I want to look for a way to divide the line. So we have this option in the modify, which allows us to divide, where is it? I think measure and divide. So, but then you can just type the shortcut div, and the reason why it's hard to see here is because I'm in my modeling space. If I go to drafting annotation, you will see it right here. Oh, sorry, it's actually in the draw tool. So you have your divide and then you have your measure. So what I need is that divide. So I can go back here. I think you can find it here. Okay, so it's not in this draw tool here, it was hidden. So you have to know the shortcut, or you go to the icon. So let's divide div. Don't forget we said we know how many are we dividing: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once I run the divide, it's telling me to select object to divide. I want to divide this line, and then it's asking me for number of segments. We want 10, obviously, and then it would have divided that line. So you would ask yourself, so where's the subdivision? So you just need to use your line. So basically what it did was just to add a node point. If you keep moving down, you see that node, that's one subdivision, that's another subdivision. So we'll have to just draw this all the way here and then start copying this guy. CO for copy, and copy, keep adding them to that spot. This, and the last one. So now I just realized something, that I really do not need to do all of them, but it's good. I already have this line, so I'll just do one of them and then I'll create a copy of that. So that's what I'll do. So I'll draw a line, join from here to here to here, back here, so that we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll just J for join. So we have one segment here. So now that we have the segment, we want to now kind of create a depth out of it. So let me move this to the side. So I can orbit here as well, and then switch this to world. And this is what we have. And also notice something is trying to, it places it on the surface here. I don't want it to be on this surface. I want it to push in a bit, because you can also see from here, it's not at that surface, it goes in a bit more inside. So I will have to decide where I want this to be. So I'm thinking I should add a line from here going down. Make sure I'm having minus Z, or yeah, should have that minus Z. Just come all the way down, click, and that is where I want this to be. So I can select this guy, and then I can M to move it from there. It will snap there, and now this would be, we move back. I can also set the depth that I want. So let's say this line, I'm going to copy it, CO for copy, and then I'll move this all the way here to be the depth. So by the time I'm extruding this, I have where to extrude to. So it's just to help me make it easy. So if I click here and I go to extrude, select the shape, press enter, and just click on this, and then it will extrude to that point. And if I switch this to conceptual, this is what I have. All right. So before I start to move this into, I'm seeing some detail here which I'm missing. You can see that there's this other line here. So we might have to create that now, even though I didn't see that. So it's just up to us to see how that will be done. But then let's see how I can put that detail without being disruptive. I can still get my original image back. So let's just have that as well. So I can create a rectangle, REC. Just put this rectangle all the way here. Just this small stuff. I think it's fine. It's not too. You can move it here, and I'll mirror that. MI for mirror. Okay, I think I'll do the mirror later. So let's just work with this first. And then the other thing I'm also going to do is, if you also look at this, is also not at that surface, and then also not at this. It's just a little bit projected forward than this depth. So what I can do is here I can create another line down so that I can move that rectangle there. So let's just create a line here. This line, all of these things I'm doing, we are going to remove them. They are just for construction purpose. So I'll select this, M for move, click here, all the way here. So this line, if I select the line, which is this, I can create a mirror and move to this midpoint. I want this midpoint. Okay, so because we are on front, it will not work. So let's change this back to Word, and let's run this as the midpoint. Let's select it again. Okay, let's be sure. Yeah, that's the wall. And then MI. I want to pick the midpoint of this. Do we have midpoint on? Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's just select and copy that to that side. For some reason it doesn't want to go, so CO for copy, pick at that point. So this is the depth, so let's just come all the way there. And we can extrude as well, so select this guy, click, press enter, go all the way to this place and click, and then we've done that part. So if we check this now, that is done. And for this, we just need to push that back. That's just what we need to do. Okay, all right, let's see how we can push it back. So let's switch this to X-ray, or we could actually switch this to wireframe. And let's do press pull. So I want to press pull so you have to make sure you pick the right shape. If you miss it, you press pull something else. Again, let's check X-ray and change this to perspective. Alright, let's press pull again. Look at the shape that we want, which is the inner one. Again, let's try again. Okay, so another thing I can do is, it's hard for me to select, is I could just come to this guy. So I have that selected, and also this. Once I have both of them selected, isolate. So we have only these two objects, and then press pull should be a lot easier for us. Click and then snap at that point, and then it will move it to that segment. All right, so on isolate, bring everything back. If I switch this to front, and this should be here, you see right there, parallel, so it's on that surface. And we will do this other part later on, but let's just get the overall shape. So now we have this. Another thing I want to do is, because we want to have this groove, so I can add a bit of a fillet, even though we're not given that information. So we could just add that right there, just so that by the time we're putting all of these guys together, we are not going to be having that issue of just a surface that is just plain. So you get what I'm trying to say very soon. So I think I'll just go back to conceptual, and then let's add that. Let me turn on my grid, and I want to be in my world. So I'll go to my solid and go to fillet edge. Let's set our radius to be, let's try 5. I'm not sure, but let's see. Alright, 5 is perfect. 5 is good. So I'll add one here, here, here. Just note the value, we're using 5, okay? So that by the time we want to do the opposite side, we just will know the value we're using 5. So once we're done, we just press enter, 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 and that will give us that. So now we can now copy this down. All right, so that's just what we're going to do next. So let's select this guy. Let's go to the front view, to the wireframe, select the shape, the poly solid. So once you have that selected, just copy, CO for copy, come here, just trace a little bit, click from there, trace here, click, trace, make sure you trace that, click. You're not clicking at that point, just trace, make sure you have that green, click. Also trace here. Once you have that green, click as well. So that's how you're going to get the whole of the, okay, we have 2 more and then the last one. And if we switch this back, and this is how it's going to look like. It's perfect. Yeah, perfect. That's what I wanted. So once we have that done, the next thing is to have this opening, all right? And because we're done with this, if you look at the back as well, so you see, this is perfect. Maybe we should just mirror this and be done with it. Okay, I missed something. We could have mirrored everything first before. So I'll just undo this. I'll undo that. We'll do the mirror of this one first before we start to copy, because once we do the mirror, we have to move this backwards. All right, so select this MI from mirror, pick the middle of this to the middle of that, press enter, and obviously we need to move this back, so just select this, and we don't need this actually, so we just isolate, and then we can now bring this back, go back to home, press pull, select this and press pull to that point, Ctrl Z that first. Okay, so yeah, so let's do that. So we can press pull, select this face, and then we're moving this face all the way till we snap here, click, and that should press pull that, not click, yeah, now that works. And let's check this and be sure that this one is still there. Okay, so I want to be sure I did not, yeah, so I see what happened. Okay, this is supposed to be a closed shape. All right, okay, so let's isolate. It's hidden anyway, so but that's not the problem. We need to check why we have that problem. So isolate. This doesn't have that issue, so I'm going to undo this until we solve that problem. We can't mess this up. On isolate, and so that I can select these 3 guys, we can have a sense of what is really happening. And this isolate, so we have that. And let's change this to conceptual, so we have this that we need to move back. So let's see again. Yeah, so that's done. So what we need to do next is to fillet it. Remember the value we use. We'll go to solid, fillet edge, radius we use 5, press enter, select this edge and this edge. So I feel I need to switch this back to wireframe, and let's come back right here, fillet, and select this and then this, and press enter twice, and that should give us a solution to that. Okay, so now that we have this done, we can now copy this. So let's just isolate and go to front view, and also change this to 2D wireframe. So we can select this now, CO for copy, and we'll pick from here all the way here. Okay, so let me go back again. So I missed that. CO, pick. Okay, so we can actually click here, here, here. Just keep clicking on those lines. That's the purpose of that subdivision. So let's just switch this back to conceptual, and that's fine, perfect. And we'll have that on both sides. So the next thing we want to do is to create that opening. So we can tell that just before the end of the second and at the beginning of the fourth. All right, so we'll just do that. So let's go to the front view. Let's change our work plane. Go to the home, change our work plane to face, select this face, press enter twice, or just select it and press enter, and that's just it. So we want to create a rectangular shape on that surface. So let's just say here we're not giving any dimension whatsoever. So let's just click here. So let me get the length straight first from here to here. That's let's say 200. Okay, so we'll go to this place, click somewhere here, and before I draw, there's option for dimension. So it's asking for dimension 200 by 200, and then it's asking for where we want to put this, which I can just put this here. So obviously you can tell that 200 by 200 doesn't work. This is meant to cover this face and come down. So you see here, so this doesn't work. See where it's actually supposed to get all the way here. So we'll try 300. So let's try that. Or we could just create, I want it to be perfect square anyway. So we'll click here, choose dimension 300, 300. Yeah, I think this works. Just click, and if you see, this is what we have, which in my opinion I don't think is bad. So let's move this a little bit up. All right, so that is perfect. So we're just going to copy it 2 more times. All right, so select this, CO for copy, and move this here and move this maybe somewhere here. That's the second one you can see from the image, and the third one would be here as well. Yes, perfect. So now that we have this done, we just need to create a shape out of this and just more like cutouts. But now the problem with this is, if you look at it, and let's actually do this here. If you try to do a cutout here, press pull, you see what's happening is not picking the whole shape, it's just picking one segment of the shape. So what do? What we can do is we can select all these guys, join them to becoming one object. That's including this, because before we can now run this operation. So let's go to Unify, select this, so that AutoCAD can treat them as one mesh, not separate meshes. And then I'll click on this as well, and then this, and just press enter. We'll treat them as one mesh, yeah. And then we can try to do this. Even if you try to do press pull, it will still not treat them as the same. So what I will do is I'm going to select this guy, I'm going to extrude it backwards. So just select it, make sure it's a polyline, press enter, extrude back like that. It doesn't really matter, let it just go past it. So I'll select this as well, press enter, go all the way, go to this, select the polyline, press enter, go all the way. So I just need to select, put all the three and move them to intersect the shape. So once I have it intersecting the shape, all we need to do is go to subtract, select this, the bigger one, enter, the one you want to subtract from it, enter, cut out. So we'll run the command again, press enter, select this, enter, this, sorry, let's run this, enter, then this, enter. Again, subtract, the big one, choose the big one, press enter, and then choose this one, enter. So we have that cut out, which is what we want. So the next thing will be all this opening. All right, so we could use, we already have the shapes there. So we are going to use a different approach to create this. We're just going to use what we call the sweep. And how do we use the sweep? We already have the line, we just need a profile. All right, that's just what we need, a profile that we can use to create that sweep. So let's just quickly do that. Change this to world and create a rectangle of the shape of the profile that we want. So this is coming here, we want this to be in the world. So let's put it on the floor like this. Let's say this is the profile that we want. Just select this, M for move, pick here, and then go to this edge, drop it at that edge like so, so that you will see it move out like that. Yeah. So I'm going to copy this as well. CO for copy. I'll pick here as my base point. So sadly it's the same operation. Okay, I think let me just do one and then we can copy that one all the way. So we'll go to our sweep. You are asked to select the object to sweep. This is the object I want to sweep. Select it, press enter. You have to select the shape. This is the shape, that rectangular shape, and then it will give us this. I missed it. I'm supposed to do the, we'll do mirror. So let's just copy this guy. Just come here, select it, and we want to create a copy. And how do we do that? We have a point here, so we can just say CO for copy, pick this edge, come to this edge, and then come to that edge as well. And that will give us that. Do you see that? Yeah, That's how to do it. And then we are going to select all of them, this, and then this, and we are going to mirror it on this side. Okay, so let's go to the left view while they are selected. So if you lose the selection, don't worry, just switch back to wireframe. You can still select them here. You have one here, you have the other one here, and then the last one here. And then run your mirror command, MI for mirror, pick the midpoint, go all the way, click, and you don't have it. So I'm going to undo that. So I think I'll pick this from this center here. So I'll select this, and then this. And then run a mirror command, MI for mirror, pick the midpoint. So if the midpoint is not picking, don't worry, draw a line here. We might need to come up all the way here. Click from here. So this place, I doubt if that will work. Okay, so let's just say we are going to pick from here, yes, to here. That's what we're going to pick. So let's run that again. So we select this, and then the last one. So everything we're doing, we have to put in consideration on the opposite side. So MI for mirror, you want to get to this place, up, press enter, and that should now work again. So if you move back here and switch this to conceptual, you need to always, very important, to check everything you're doing. See, you have here, and then you have here. So you could choose to leave it open, but actually in the design is a glass, so we need to create a glass for it. So it's very simple. We already have that line, which we are going to use to extrude. That's just all we need to do. So let's click on extrude, select the rectangular shape, which is this polyline, press enter, and then extrude this inwards like that. So if it's not enough, don't worry, you can press pull this at this point. Not to press pull everything, but no issue. So this, I can move it also in a little bit so that we have that little offset. Yeah, I think this is fine. That's fine. So now we'll just copy this down like we did. CO for copy, pick from here to here to here, and that's it. I'm going to have that. So basically we are done with everything for the door. The only thing left is just the handle, and like I said, we are not creating this handle. This for me feels simple, so we are going to create this handle and place it here, so we have a proper handle that we can use. So we already have a dimension to this, so you can see that the height is 280, the width is 70, and we are not given the depth. Okay, so we can, let's see, is there any depth here? Height, center, handle, plate width. So nothing whatsoever concerning the depth, so we can just improvise and look at the particular depth we are looking for. So let's start by creating this first, this, before we can now start looking at this surface. So don't forget, we have 280 by 70. So let's select a face. We are going to pick this face as our working plane, press enter, and then we can now start rectangle, and just pick here. We have 280 by 70, right? Click, go to dimension, 280 by 70. So this is what we have. So you can see it's going this way. So I think we'll have to change the dimension. It's going to be 70 by 280. Yeah, so this is what we have. Just click here, and then you have your handle, and then you can create your depth. Press pull. Again, press pull doesn't want to work. Let's go to extrude. Select the extrude, pick this, enter. Extruding all the way like so. Let's say this is, yeah, that is what we want. Again, let's look at where the handle is. It's actually not bad. It's good where it is. So for the top, you can tell that there is a little bit of a rounding to it, or a chamfer or anything whatsoever. So let's just create that as well. Let's see if I can press pull this. Why is it picking them separately? Okay, so let's create a, go to solid and fillet. Set a fillet radius. Let's use 2, but this is 5. We'll pick here. Yeah, that's fine. Here. 2 is perfect. Here, and then here. Just the top. Press enter, and then you have that. So the next thing we have will be to press enter again. So the next thing, I was seeing that highlight, so I noticed I had not finished the command. So the next thing we want to do is this. We also need to switch our work plane from here to here. So again, go to your home tab, click on by face, pick this face, and press enter. So if you look at this shape, we have 2 circles, one bigger circle and a smaller circle that we want to. So we are going to use that to do that. We now loft both of them. So let's go to front view, and let's create the 2 circles. No dimension. So just pick from here all the way here, something like that. So we'll create another circle from that same center, very close. I can see, I don't know if you can see, these are the 2 circles. So for this one, I'm selecting this inner circle, which is a smaller one. I'll move it a little bit out, and you notice something. I'm going to undo that operation till I have both, and then I'll turn off my snap. The reason is because it went to snap backwards, so I'll just move it all by myself without any snap. So we have that. So I'm thinking we should reduce this a little bit, just reduce this more. Yeah, so once I have this done, so I have the 2 circles, I can switch this to X-ray for you to see it proper. So this is how it will look like. Okay, so if you feel that this is too small, you can just bring this back. So let's run the command. We use loft. So why this is working is because for loft to work, you have to have shapes at different altitude to each other or to one another. So it's very important. They can't be on the same level. So I'll select that and then select this. To create that intersection, just press enter, and that will be what you have. If we switch this to, you see, this is what we have. I can also make it round. So you notice that the edge here is kind of round. So if I want to do that, I can undo this operation. So I can create this as well. I can copy another one, and let's put on my snap. CO for copy. Pick here as my base point. Put it here, and it's okay. So for this one, I'm going to move it backwards. So I just need to turn off my grid, my snap to rather. I'll move it here. So you have something that goes here. I can also move this a little bit back down like that, so we can have that rounding going all the way. Just move it down a little bit, just a touch. So now we now have three shapes. So this will not be like a conical shape anymore, it will now be curved. So if we go back to loft, select this, and select this, and then press enter. You see that this gives you more of a rounded shape. So depending on how much rounding you want, you will create the curve and put their height. So that's basically it for that. So this one, I want to have this cutout opening. So again, I have to set my face working plane to this, press enter, and then I can create my circle as well. Turn on my snap mode, object snap mode, and I can also create another circle. I want to snap to the center, yeah, and I'm going to have this here. Create another circle, snap to the center, make it really close to what I currently have. So we can use that to do a cutting. And let me just do this other one. Let me change this to wire for X-ray so that I can see what I'm doing. So I want to do this other one as well, so we just know that we are done. So I will just quickly create this, put this one probably here, and create another circle. Somewhere here. And then we'll do this one later on. Okay, but let's just get this hole in. Okay, so now we have this. Let's create a hole. We'll do a press pull, select this inner hole like this, click it, and turn off my object snap. I can move this in like that. Do the same thing for this one. Go in. So it's going to use that as a hole. If you check this in conceptual, you see that hole that I'm looking for. It's just to add that detail to it instead of it just making it look too perfect and too no shape to it. So it's just, I'm trying to create that detail out of it. So the next one is this. So again, while we're still on this face, it's fine. So we can just quickly create that, and we are done with this top part. We'll be left with the handle. So we'll look at this shape. It's just like a circle and then this. Okay, so let's quickly create that circle. I'm not creating this circle here. I can also put on my object snap. I don't want to use the center point because it's not there, so I can just move it here and bring it all the way to this bottom. Again, let's switch to X-ray so you can see what we're doing. Then I'll also create a rectangle, as a very tiny rectangle like so, and then I can select both of them. Very important. I'll isolate them because it would not work if I do not, the trim that I'm about to do will not work if I don't isolate. So I'll just isolate these two guys. I can run my trim command, trim. So we have this shape, so I'll select this, J for join, and that will be joined. So on isolate, so now we can use this to cut into the geometry. So press pull as well, select this, go in, turn off my object snap, so I can just go in like so, somewhere here. Cut that in. So I want to have a curve, so here instead of just having that flat stuff, so I will just come here, switch to solid, fillet, set my fillet radius maybe 20, I'm not sure, but let's see, 20 feels too large, I guess. So let's run that fillet again. Let's try 5. Okay, again, it's not working. Let's run the fillet command again, radius. Let's try the 2 and let's see what it gives us. It's not working, but I think we just have to leave it like that, but I don't know why that fillet ain't working. So we have this handle, and if we also switch this to here, it's actually going to be far from it anyway, so we're not really going to see that. So the next thing is we want to do this. If you also look at the shape right there, it's a circular shape that's more of a cylindrical shape. Then at this point we are cutting this out on both sides, so that's what we're going to do. So let's switch our, if you look at it properly, okay, so let's switch our work plane to this. We're almost done, so select this and then press enter. And so while we are here in the front view, we can quickly create that cylindrical shape. So we'll use center radius, and let's see. Okay, somewhere here is fine. Alright, somewhere is fine. Something like that is not bad. It doesn't feel centered, but no issue, so just work with that. So click, go to press pull, select this, come all the way here, yeah, and then we are going to create another shape that we can use to cutting. All right, so that will be for the handle. So let's do that. We're going to change our work plane again to this surface. Click and press enter, and let's go to the front view, and then we can create our shape. So here we need to create maybe a rectangular shape, anything, just so we can cut this out. So let's put the rectangular shape here first, and we can modify it, and just click on this, move it out, click on this here. So we just want this to, we want to make sure it cuts out like it goes past the shape. And while we have this, we are going to mirror MI, pick, make sure your snap is on, select this all the way here, enter. So you have this, so we can use that to cut into the shape. So let's use our press pull, which is this. Click it, go in, make sure your auto mode is on so that we can have an actual value. So you can see we are having 30, let's just say 40. So if I say minus 40, nope, Ctrl Z. Okay, so why that will not work is because of these excesses. So what we need to do, we need to trim off this guy. Very important, we need to trim them off. So let's go back to the front view, and we also need to create that same circle here. So make sure your object snap is on, create circle, go to the center all the way to this place. Yeah, so now we're going to select this circle, we select this, and then we select this, isolate, and then we can trim. TR for trim. We're going to trim off all these guys because they're not needed. Ctrl Z. Let's select everything. TR for trim. Let's remove that, remove this, this. That's the main thing we need to remove. So we just select this one and this one, delete. So now we can use this to cut out on isolate. And let's go back. We're going 40, right? Select this, click, go in, minus 40. So I guess minus 40 is too much. So let's see, maybe minus 10. So let's press pull. Look here. Minus 10. 20. I think we should just do minus 20. Sorry. Press pull. Look here. Minus 20. Yeah, that's fine. And click this as well. Put on my auto mode. Come here. Minus 20. And this will give us that cutout, just like this. You already get where we're going to, right? So now that we have this, we need to do this handle, and we are already given this length, which is 13.5 cm, which means it is 135 millimeters. We're working in millimeters, okay? Don't forget, we're working in millimeters. So that makes it 135 mm. So we have to look at the shape. So let's see the shape. This shape is somewhat like a slot that goes all the way in. So we're going to follow this shape and use that to create our object. All right, so let's see what face to work with. I think I will choose so the thing here is we cannot select this. You can't select a round face. Very important to note, you can't. So we'll have to switch this to world. Yeah, we'll switch to world, and then we'll have to create it in 3D. So we want to be on this surface and then build down. All right, so let's create a rectangle. Click from here all the way here, maybe to this place. Yeah, perfect. That's where we want to be. Yeah, that's where we want to be. So now we have that done. We just want to extrude that out. Polyline, press enter. We're coming here. If you put on your auto mode, you see this is, we are going 135, right? So we just come here, 135. I hope it doesn't go the other way. Oh, thank God. So we have this done. The only thing left will just be for us to smoothen this, and then we are done. All right. But before we smoothen this, let's join them together to becoming one object, and then we'll be able to smoothen together. See, this is what we have. So let's join this. We just select, go to union, select this, and select this, then press enter, and then we'll turn them to being one object. Okay, so this is one object. Then we can now round that up. So let's go to fillets. Let's go to a solid fillet. Let's look at radius 2 first and see what it's giving us. I hope this. Alright, so it's not bad. So I'm going to add here as well. Let's add here. Should we add here? We'll do that one as 1. So let's also add here. Add here. I think we added there. So add here, 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 and then here. So let's check these out. We also need to smoothen all these guys, because really the handle should be slick, and also the base. Smoothen everything, fillet everything. So we have these. Let's see. Okay, I think we are good. We're only left with this side. So I think we are pretty much good here. Just press enter, enter, and that's smooth. And then we have our handle. So if we check everything in its glory, you see we've created the whole hand. The only thing, the whole handle. The only thing left to just be to select everything like so, and then mirror to the other back side, and then that's it. I don't need to be doing this in this video. We've done a lot of mirrors, so I will end this video here. So I hope you've learned a lot in this video. If you feel that this was helpful, please give me a like and a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, because I do tutorials like this every day. Do have a wonderful day, and God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Bye.